Welcome to our audiobook. We appreciate your kind support through subscribing and give us a like. In the Nirvana Sutra story, a man is visited by two goddesses, one who brings prosperity and joy, and the other who brings hardship and misfortune. He learns that the two are inseparable, highlighting that good fortune often comes with challenges and that difficulties can offer valuable opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. The book reflects on the author's own struggles and insights, sharing personal essays and stanzas that aim to provide comfort and encouragement to those facing life's difficulties. Part 1. When things don't go your way. Don't be all right. The author explores the challenge of directly confronting difficult emotions rather than avoiding them. Reflecting on personal experiences, such as a deep fear of abandonment and intense criticism, he underscores the importance of sitting with and observing one's emotions. Initially overwhelmed by feelings of fear and betrayal, especially when criticized publicly despite his best efforts, he realized that spiritual growth requires embracing all aspects of oneself, including unresolved traumas. By fully experiencing and expressing these emotions, through rage, grief, and understanding his childhood fears, he found healing and integration. He encourages others to approach their emotions with curiosity rather than judgment, suggesting that this process of self-inquiry and acceptance fosters wisdom and personal growth. The author advises allowing time for emotional processing and learning from hardships, asserting that overcoming such challenges often leads to a more meaningful and resilient life. Why are we unhappy? Unhappiness often arises from our struggle to accept reality, with our minds either craving pleasant experiences or resisting unpleasant ones, leading to restlessness, stress, and anxiety. The core issue is not the external situation, but our mental reactions, grasping or resisting. To achieve peace and contentment, the author recommends practices that counteract these tendencies. Gratitude is one effective method. By focusing on what we already have, such as health or support, we can reduce dissatisfaction and calm the mind. Another practice is to welcome discomfort rather than resist it. By preparing ourselves to accept unpleasant experiences and expecting them as part of life, we can reduce suffering. Techniques include mentally preparing to accept discomfort, using affirmations, and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. Embracing these practices can lead to greater emotional resilience and personal growth, transforming hardships into valuable lessons. How do you feel about the universe? Your perception of the universe, whether as abundant and benevolent or scarce and uncaring, can significantly influence your outlook and how you handle challenges. This perception is often shaped by early experiences and inherited beliefs. For example, a supportive upbringing may lead you to see the universe as generous, while a childhood marked by scarcity may result in viewing it as harsh. The author contrasts their father's scarcity mindset, influenced by childhood lack and caution, with their monastic teacher's belief in a benevolent universe. The teacher's faith in abundance fosters generosity and acceptance. This perspective mirrors teachings like Jesus' advice to trust in divine provision. Embracing faith and gratitude can shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, leading to a more positive and supportive experience of the world. This shift influences how you interact with life and respond to challenges. Part 2. When your heart is aching. Please reject me gently. Experiencing rejection, whether in job interviews or personal relationships, can be painful and impact self-esteem. The author likens job interviews to first dates, where the aim is to make a good impression and evaluate mutual fit. After a disappointing rejection, the author initially took it personally, questioning their worth and feeling inadequate. Over time, with more practice and experience, they learned not to internalize rejection. They came to understand that selection decisions often reflect the specific preferences and needs of the committee rather than personal shortcomings. The author suggests several strategies for coping with rejection, which is: don't take it personally, reflect on rejections you've made, seek support and learn and move forward. Spring days are gone. In the late 90s, the author began their doctoral program at Princeton University and initially lived with a friendly graduate student, Jason. Although their living situation started positively, conflict soon arose due to differing habits and views, such as preferences in food and personal belongings. These minor disagreements evolved into significant tensions, making their shared living space uncomfortable. The author realized that living with someone, even a close friend, often reveals personal tendencies and flaws that may not have been apparent before. To avoid such conflicts when moving in with someone, the author recommends several strategies, which is maintain personal space, communicate expectations, adjust routines, and address issues respectfully. My jealousy, my suffering. As a child, the author felt deep inadequacy and envy after visiting their wealthy uncle's luxurious apartment in Seoul, contrasting sharply with their modest home. This contrast, coupled with strained interactions with cousins, particularly during a birthday incident involving a toy, intensified their feelings of sadness and inferiority. Reflecting as an adult, the author realizes that this jealousy stemmed from personal inadequacy and a desire to prove themselves, often arising among those with personal connections rather than significant differences. The author acknowledges that, although painful, jealousy can drive self-improvement and attributes their success, including attending an Ivy League school, to the competitive spirit fueled by this jealousy. They now wish to express gratitude and seek forgiveness from their cousins, recognizing that these experiences of jealousy played a crucial role in their personal growth and achievements. Part 3. When feeling burned out and joyless. Small but certain happiness. In Seoul, the phrase SBCH, small but certain happiness, is replacing the old YOLO, you only live once, mindset, which led to excessive spending and dissatisfaction. SBCH, coined by Japanese novelist Haruki Murakami, emphasizes finding joy in everyday moments rather than chasing grand achievements. Murakami's examples include savoring a piece of warm bread or enjoying Brahms' music. True happiness is not solely reliant on major milestones like career success or significant life events, but can be found in appreciating everyday simple pleasures. The author reflects on their own experiences of small but certain happiness, such as listening to a favorite radio program, enjoying a quiet moment in a park, discovering new books, and spending time with close friends. These moments offer a sense of contentment and fulfillment, illustrating that happiness is often found in appreciating the present and the small things in life. Where is your querencia? A querencia, a term from Spanish bullfighting meaning a place of refuge and recovery, is crucial for rejuvenation during life's challenges. For the author, Miwang Temple in Korea's Haemin County serves as their querencia. Surrounded by the serene Dharma Mountains and lush hydrangeas, the temple provides both physical and spiritual solace. Its calming beauty, including sunset views, fog-cloaked mountains, and moonlit nights, creates a peaceful retreat. The temple's abbot, Haemin Sunim, and his team offer warm hospitality and thoughtful care, enhancing the experience. Visitors, including Europeans seeking traditional Korean culture, appreciate the fresh, healthy temple food and sense of community. The author reflects on how Miwang Temple's comfort illustrates that a change of environment, such as visiting a tranquil place or spending time in nature, can offer renewal and perspective, helping us reconnect with ourselves and find peace amidst life's demands. Finding peace in a restless mind. Recently, the author reconnected with an old friend who had just been promoted to partner at his accounting firm. Despite the perks of his new position, such as a company car, an office, and a secretary, he felt unsettled and acknowledged that the role came with its own set of challenges and lower status compared to more senior partners. This conversation made me reflect on how the continual pursuit of new goals often reveals new obstacles and hierarchies. The author experienced similar realizations in my own life. As a novice monk and later as a Harvard student, the author expected fulfillment from these achievements, only to find that new challenges and expectations emerged. True happiness, the author learned, does not stem from reaching external goals but from finding contentment in the present moment. Instead of endlessly pursuing new objectives, learning to appreciate and find peace with what we already have can lead to deeper, lasting well-being. Part 4. When loneliness visits. Why are we lonely? Loneliness can persist even when surrounded by others due to our fear of vulnerability and rejection. Many people feel isolated despite having family, friends, or colleagues because they fear that showing their true selves will lead to judgment or hurt. Carl Rogers, founder of person-centered therapy, suggests this fear originates from early experiences of conditional acceptance, often from parents. When children grow up in environments where only specific behaviors are praised, they learn to hide their true emotions and wear social masks, resulting in shallow connections and ongoing loneliness. This dynamic also affects family relationships, where psychological barriers can hinder genuine communication. As adults, we may find it easier to connect with friends or colleagues. True happiness and growth come from being accepted for who we are. If family acceptance is lacking, it can be found through supportive friends, mentors, or therapists. Building deeper connections requires mutual unconditional acceptance and warmth. A new era of alone together. Text messaging has become a popular communication method due to its convenience and non-intrusiveness, allowing people to respond at their own pace and avoid interruptions. However, this shift hasn't necessarily reduced feelings of loneliness. Despite constant phone connectivity, many experience profound alienation. Sherry Turkle, a social psychologist, refers to this as being alone together, physically present but emotionally disconnected, often engaging with phones rather than with one another. Texting lacks the depth of face-to-face interactions, where nonverbal cues and immediate feedback are vital for empathy and understanding. The ease of exiting a text conversation or blocking someone can foster superficial exchanges. Moreover, dependence on smartphones can cause anxiety when disconnected, making us feel vulnerable. Misak Ko, a cultural critic, highlights that while face-to-face interactions are more effortful and inconvenient, they offer richer, more meaningful connections. To combat loneliness, it is crucial to prioritize in-person interactions and take breaks from digital communication. Seeing loneliness as it is. Recently, the author experienced sudden loneliness on a Saturday afternoon, despite having a day off and pleasant weather. Although the author typically enjoys solitude, the author wanted to understand this feeling better. The author realized that loneliness might not solely arise from being alone, as it can occur even in the company of others. The root seemed to be internal belief that meeting someone was necessary to feel better, creating mental resistance to being alone. This insight suggested that loneliness often relates more to our perceptions than to external circumstances. Loneliness in the presence of others often results from a lack of genuine connection, feeling misunderstood or unsupported. To address this, revealing our authentic selves and showing vulnerability can foster deeper connections. If loneliness is due to physical isolation, seeking opportunities to meet new people, such as joining interest-based groups or reconnecting with old friends, is essential. Taking the initiative to connect can alleviate loneliness. Part 5. When facing uncertainty. The courage to say, "I can't." The author recently drew inspiration from the Korean poem Courage by Lee Kyu-gyeong, which ends with the line, "I can't do it," suggesting that true courage involves recognizing our limits and admitting when a path isn't right for us. Reflecting on journey, the author realized that 7 years as a professor were motivated more by external expectations than personal passion. The demands of academia, focused on publications and networking, diverged from author's initial interest in spiritual awakening, leading to a sense of disconnection. Psychologist Tiki Ha highlights that finding happiness often requires the courage to let go and pursue paths that resonate with us. Despite initial doubts and opposition, the author left academia to establish the School for Broken Hearts, a non-profit dedicated to healing and growth. This new venture's success reinforced that admitting "I can't do it" can lead to greater fulfillment. The author advised students to embrace this courage and seek paths true to themselves. The tomb is inside of me. The Korean song "A Thorn Bird" poignantly addresses the struggle of balancing our authentic self, me of me, with the self shaped by external expectations, me of others. The me of others often prevails, especially for those raised under strict or authoritarian conditions, who may rely on others' expectations to define their identity. While adhering to this self can bring external approval and stable relationships, it can also lead to difficulties if those external influences shift or vanish. Over time, many people, including the late Korean novelist Park Wan-soo, begin to embrace their me of me, valuing the freedom to live authentically. As the author approach my late 40s, author find myself less concerned with others' perceptions and more comfortable with my own choices. However, completely ignoring the me of others can strain relationships. Thus, the key to a fulfilling life lies in balancing personal desires with social connections. Listen first to the pain inside of you. To cope with regretful memories or future anxieties, the author finds relief by focusing on bodily sensations, such as how shoulder or chest feels in the present moment. This mindfulness practice, inspired by Thich Nhat Hanh, helps author break free from negative thought loops and realize that author distress originates from mind, while the world remains calm. Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Buddhist monk, taught that mindfulness extends beyond personal calm and can mend strained relationships. He emphasized that true meditation reconnects us with the world and heals interpersonal connections, using the metaphor of flowers and detritus to illustrate our interconnectedness. To restore broken relationships, he advises first addressing our own suffering. By acknowledging and softening our internal tension, we become more open to understanding others' pain. Engaging with those we've had conflicts with, and listening without defensiveness, fosters mutual healing and underscores the interdependence of our experiences. Part 6. When enlightenment has yet to occur. Ways of living harmoniously. During an autumn meditation retreat at Bongam Monastery, I learned several key guidelines for living harmoniously with others. Initially, the atmosphere among over 100 monks was tense, but I soon grasped that success in such a communal setting requires flexibility and cooperation. One vital lesson was to avoid insisting on personal ways of doing things. For example, different monasteries have distinct chanting styles, and insisting on one's own style can lead to discord. Harmony is achieved by adjusting to collective practices. Another important guideline is to commit to working more than others from the outset. By doing so, you avoid feelings of resentment when perceiving others as less diligent, fostering mental peace. Additionally, accepting one's assigned situation with a positive mindset can transform initial dissatisfaction into appreciation. For instance, sharing a large room with several monks, rather than having a single room, offered unexpected benefits like reliable wake-up calls and easier access to shared information. Finally, maintaining focus on meditation practice helps manage dissatisfaction with others. When meditation is central, one is less likely to fixate on others' faults, recognizing that such issues often reflect personal flaws. This mindset fosters a more peaceful and productive retreat experience. Discovering your true self. On a serene spring day, author take time to pause and reflect, noticing the contrast between our constant thoughts and the quiet space between them. This space, often overlooked, is where tranquil silence resides. While thoughts and feelings are tangible and identifiable, this silence is shapeless and elusive. It is easy to mistake our thoughts and feelings as our true selves, but they are transient, like clouds in the sky. The real you exists beyond these thoughts and feelings, in the awareness that remains constant before, during, and after their appearance. True awareness, which exists as tranquil silence, is formless, empty, and peaceful. It is the foundation from which all thoughts and feelings arise and eventually return. To explore this awareness, close your eyes and focus on the silence that follows a thought. Observe if this silence exists both inside and outside your body, and whether it has any boundaries or limits. This silence is unchanging, imperishable, and ever-present, regardless of external disturbances. Recognizing this transparent silence within can lead to profound serenity, freedom, creativity, and acceptance. The tale of Roundy's great journey. Roundy, a little fish with a round head, lived in the Pacific Ocean and was fascinated by tales of the great and benevolent ocean that his grandfather spoke of. This ocean, believed to have created and nurtured all life, was a revered figure among the sea creatures, though few had ever seen him. The most daunting part of finding the ocean was traversing the Cave of Death, a place of utter darkness where even the bravest fish could lose hope. Despite his grandfather's worries and his own fears, Roundy was determined to meet the ocean and embarked on the journey. After a month of travel, he reached the Cave of Death, where he prayed for guidance and entered the darkness. As he swam through the cave, the initial fear gave way to a profound peace. He realized that the ocean might not be a physical entity, but rather a presence within the silence and tranquility he experienced. When Roundy finally emerged from the cave, he saw the familiar sea life, but with new clarity. He understood that the ocean was not a separate being but was embodied in the peaceful silence within him. Embracing this realization, Roundy lived with a deep sense of connection and gratitude, knowing the ocean's presence was always with him. Thank you for your time spent with us. We hope you enjoy our audiobook. We would be grateful for your kind support. Subscribe and give us a like. Stay tuned on our next audiobook.